T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I am the tiger, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
Well, hello there, my business owning entrepreneurial friends. It's Jason Withers here with the Profit Levers radio show on Coach on Fire Radio. Thanks very much for listening in today. I hope you've had or are having a great day. End of the day for me. My special guest, Jamie Jensen, there on the west coast of the States today. So just starting out on her day. So I'm always very happy to be here doing the show with you. Great guests, great topics, and all to do with growing that profitable business that we're all searching for. So a couple of housekeeping items before we really get into time with Jamie today. And she'll be talking to us about the power of storytelling in our copywriting and how that can improve our profitability, amongst other things. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. Way too many questions for an hour, I'm sure, to get through, but we'll do what we can. So for any new listeners today, Profit Levers radio show is brought to you by Coach on Fire Radio. And it's a fortnightly show, and we air midday PST, 3 p.m. EST and 8 p.m. GMT. Today is obviously a live show, so our next show will be Monday, September the 3rd, and that'll be at the same time. You can subscribe to the show through iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And you can obviously catch up on episodes that you may have missed there, and obviously make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Social media for me, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Jason A. Withers. That's Instagram, Twitter, and on my Facebook business page. So for those of you that haven't met me before, I'm a profit growth strategist, profit mentor, maker, and profit transformer for both entrepreneurs and online business owners. And I'm also a profit first professional coach. So I help ambitious online entrepreneurs and owner-managed businesses just like yours live and love a more profitable existence. So hopefully that all adds up to being a more fulfilling life for you. More time and more freedom to do more of the things that you want to do. Couple of things. We do it simply, we do it efficiently, and we do it together. No entrepreneur left behind. Hashtag. I believe that all that hard work that you put into your business shouldn't go unrewarded, but unfortunately so often it does. The brilliance of an individual, an idea that turns into a business, is where it all starts. It evolves and it grows, typically just because it does. We make decisions, we thrive on gut instinct and graft, but often that's so reactive and it's not intentional behavior that drives us towards the growth in our business. So where is the profit to match the effort? Now, too often it just isn't there in the quantity that it should be, or indeed could be. And that's why this show exists. We're trying to bring out these little tips and hints that focus on profit rather than just revenue in our businesses, because that's how we grow them, through profit. So we often miss out on the profit and we miss the things in life that we really want to be doing. The irony tends to be we're too busy trying to make the profit that somehow means we don't have the time to go and do the things that we actually want to go and do. So we need to try and sort that out as well. And I'm sure that Jamie's going to help us with some of that today. So for those of you who pour your, sorry Jamie, no pressure. So for all of you who pour your soul into your businesses and your dreams thereafter, I want you to fully benefit from the efforts that you put in. And really gain the profit from that energy investment that you really deserve. In the coming weeks, I'll be continuing to interview a series of guests to help us create more profitable businesses, all sharing their expertise, and most importantly, how to utilize their expertise to generate profit in your business. So through the remainder of 2018, we've got designers, web experts, life coaches, system geeks, and marketing mavens all lined up to bring you the very best of what they have to offer, and to give us the lowdown on how you can leverage those skills for that profitable business. Before we get into all the goodness that Jamie is going to be talking to us about today, I just want to take a couple of seconds to recap on the fundamentals and the simplicity of my Profit Levers methodology. So it all hinges around the fact we only have 3 things that we can use that will ever influence our profitability: sales, margin, and overhead. So if you've missed the previous episodes where we've discussed that at great depth, head on over to the Facebook page, check out the pinned post, download that freebie and get reading that. There's also a business model in there that will show you how a small change can actually double the profit in your business. And believe me, it's a really small change for the business model that we discuss. And that's one of the great surprises that people often find. It's actually much simpler than people tend to think. So profit is the commercial imperative as far as I'm concerned. It is the commercial non-negotiable. Why? Because profit gives us choices in our lives. More profit gives us more freedom, which gives us more choice, which allows us to make more impact. Now, that impact can be in our business lives, in our personal lives, and socially as well. So all of it starts with us being able to generate profit and then move things forward from there. So it really is simple to me, and I want it to be simple for you because we've only got those three things that we really have to concentrate on. So let's get on with today's show and discover how we can make our businesses more profitable by addressing today's selection of topics, which are going to encompass storytelling within copywriting, some money story chat, podcast inspiration, and how to get the most out of the mastermind group. I'm sure there might be a couple of other things we pick on along the way as well. So for those of you that don't know her, today my special guest is Jamie Jensen. Now, by way of introduction, Jamie's an award-winning screenwriter, business strategist, and creator of Story School. To date, she's helped over 700 entrepreneurs increase their sales by up to 900%, hashtag yes please, with the power of effective storytelling. Prior to helping business leaders connect deeply with their audiences through copy, video, and talks, Jamie worked in story development in Hollywood, assisting writers in both film and television. Jamie is the co-director and executive producer of the film Hannah Has a Hoe Phase, which won her the Best Feature Writer Award at La Femme Film Festival in 2013. And she most recently completed her 9th feature-length screenplay. So Jamie divides her time between New York City and Los Angeles. And when she's not writing or helping clients with their creative business, voice, and story, you can find her drenched in sweat from yoga or dance class, cracking inappropriate jokes, or curled up on the couch watching movies on repeat. Hashtag obsessed. There we go. So we can connect with Jamie through her website, thejamiejensen.com, and we'll be posting all of Jamie's other social profiles on the replay links for you as well. So today, Jamie's going to talk to us about storytelling as a source of inspiration to create massive impact with our copywriting. Not only that, she's going to be talking to us a bit about how we create our own brand story and how we can leverage that to make bank too. So we're going to be covering topics of podcasts and masterminds along the way. So stay tuned for some knowledge bombs from Jamie on these too, because I know there's a wealth of experience involved in both of those. So then, Jamie, I've got to start out with this. We can work hard for our profit, or we can choose to learn how to make profit in the most efficient way possible in our business. Now, I've yet to meet an entrepreneur that doesn't want to know more about how to make more profit whilst enjoying more time freedom with a less problematic life attached. And given that we're all trying to captivate our audiences with great communication, both written and spoken, the art of copywriting is kind of fundamental to that, I think. What do you say to that?
It's absolutely fundamental. I mean,
Great.
considering it's what I do for my business, I'm clearly going to agree with that. I would definitely be shooting my own profit in the foot if I said no. So I'm going to say yes. But I'm also saying yes because I've really seen the power of what this does for people. I've seen the difference in the impact a brand can have when it has a powerful story versus doesn't, the impact a speaker can make on stage when they have a powerful story versus don't. And really the conversions that copy will turn over for someone when it's written properly and when it has a compelling story and a compelling hook. If you're not entertaining your audience and pulling them through in a way that makes them, I'm going to try not to drop any F-bombs or S-bombs because I just realized that I naturally do that and I probably shouldn't. Really, you need people to care, right? And storytelling is a vehicle to get your audience emotionally invested and emotionally involved. And that's really what it is. So when I, look at someone's brand and look at someone's business and look at their marketing, a lot of what I'm looking at is how are we using story strategically across every touch point in their business? How are we allowing story to help their customers engage with them in a new way, to get to know them in a new way, to build that trust factor, to get them emotionally invested, to help them feel involved? It's a way to bring your audience to another level emotionally that, in my opinion, really supercharges and kind of fast tracks the know, like, and trust factor.
And everybody's got a story, even though we so often, I think, we don't appreciate the stories that we do actually have. So one of the questions that I do have for you, which I was going to say for a bit later on actually, but I'm going to throw it in right now. How do you find it when you come to actually write for yourself compared to writing for clients? Because I know that a lot of people, regardless of what their chosen discipline is, we find it so much easier to actually transport our skill and expertise onto somebody else's business, onto somebody else's life. Is that the same for you? Or do you basically sit down and think, I'm going to write myself a great story today?
I think I'm a great storyteller either way, to be honest. That my opinion is that I do a great job either way. I do think that what's challenging for me isn't necessarily the aspect of telling a story well. It's making decisions around which story is the right story for which thing and which pieces should I include and which should I leave out. And I think, for the most part for me, once I'm clear on what I'm trying to say, it becomes easier for me to reverse engineer the story that I want to be telling or which one feels appropriate for what it's for. But I do think that you never have the same objectivity with your own business as you do with someone else's business. And I think it's similar to like your favorite hairdresser can't cut their own hair. They can't give themselves that beautiful experience, even though they're so talented at giving it for other people. So even if they did decide to pretzel their arms behind their head and do it, and they could do a good job, I think that it's never the same. It's really never the same. So I find it's like one of the funnest things to do for me is to hire other people to support me the way I support other people in their business. Be like, I would like to clone myself right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it is one of those things that I think certainly one of the things that crops up for me is the moment where you are stood with a client and you don't have to deal with all of what I would call the surrounding baggage in their day-to-day life. And that always seems to make things so much more clear, the clarity that comes with seeing things quite often for what they actually are. It seems to be so much more apparent than when we actually try and step back, and for all the time that you can think, okay, I'm clear mind, I'm going to be dispassionate about what I come up with, and I'm just going to try and do this. You still have all of your own baggage to kind of get over first. And that maybe comes back to that emotional investment that we have in our businesses in the first place. And I guess for you, with communication and writing is very much behind you, do you find that the words just flow? When you sit down, do you just start and then really edit back? Or do you start from a much more concise perspective and then expand the other way? What works best for you?
Yeah, I love that you're bringing this up for a few reasons. And I love that you've touched on this idea of being emotional about your business and that you there is this piece that has to kind of try to be dispassionate about it so that you can think objectively and logically and strategically and all of that. It's a great question. And I for sure know what works for me and what I would recommend. What I'm going to say though, is that writing is an emotional process. So for me to sit down and for words to just flow means that they are coming from an emotional place. The process of letting words come out, letting yourself tell a story, letting yourself express what you have to say or figure out the best way to express what you have to say, that's always going to be an emotional process. I think that when people try too hard to remove the emotion from it, it actually makes it more challenging to write. Because then you're busy trying to edit while you're writing and trying to make it come out perfectly and trying to do it a perfect way. And while structure, knowing what structure to kind of to fill, to kind of guide you and to be like buckets and containers to put words into is helpful. I don't think that there's like a process where you're going to end up with the best result if you don't let yourself be messy with it to begin with and be a little bit emotional with it to begin with. Because editing is one part of your brain and writing is a different part of your brain. So I typically don't recommend that people try to do both at once. And when you're looking at story, we all have an intuitive, natural human instinct around story. Like we all know how to weave a narrative if we get really honest and just let ourselves storytell. It might not be the most strategic for having an emotional impact the first time out, but all of the DNA for the story will be there if you let it come out. And then you can kind of put on your editing hat and look at it and say, okay, well, what's missing? What's excessive? What do I need, to add here to make it more powerful, or to really convey the message I'm trying to convey and tell the story in the best way I'm trying to tell it.
When you're setting about doing something